Hey, everybody. Welcome to the We Talk Sports podcast. As always, I'm Corey Tanisoff, your host, joined by Gerald Mendoza. Your thoughts?
Um, yeah, just real quick. The Orioles are still messing me up, and I can't for the life of me figure out why I still am loyal to this team. And I hate the moves, some of the moves they're making in the offseason. But we'll get to that later.
And PJ Dolan, your thoughts?
I gotta say it. The air feels like 2007 in the Meadowlands, baby. Brian Dable got the Giants back. There's life in this team again for the first time in what feels like a decade. It's a beautiful time to be a fan of the New York Football Giants.
Yep.
And I'm Corey. The Colts suck.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
So, as we are podcasting on Friday, it is the elephant in the room to address a very serious concern which has happened in the sports world recently. Gerald, would you mind taking it from here for me?
Yeah. Monday Night Football started off like the marquee matchup that it was being built up to be, and then sometime near the end of the first quarter, with about 6.5 minutes left, one routine hit on player number 3 for the Buffalo Bills, Damar Hamlin, ended up causing what is considered to be commotio cordis, which is a condition where if the heart is hit at a certain part in its repetition cycle, it just stops by itself because of the electrical charges. And there was a lot going on after that, including multiple bouts of CPR going on the field for the players. And if you if you consider how much was going on, it was quite a lot. But his pulse stopped multiple times on the field, but they were able to get it back, intubate him, get him to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, which provided excellent help for him. And over the week, he's been slowly improving to the point where now today he is now alert. He is awake. His breathing tube has been taken out, and he has communicated and has since FaceTime with his team and is talking with his family and responsive. And it looks like there's no real permanent damage caused. So that's probably the best possible way that could have turned out after initially what had happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was watching that game, and I at the time it was a routine time, nothing in pressure, so I walked away to get a Sando from the fridge, and I came back, and the cameras were just way up high, and they showed the replay one time. I don't think they showed it. I think I had to find it myself on Twitter, and throughout it all, I had to fight back tears because I've played in team sports for a long time in my life, and that those guys out there, they're not just people on a screen. They're not guys who, they're your brothers. You bleed, sweat, and cry with them every day at practice, games, whatever. And to see somebody go down like that, it was 10 minutes to bring him back up. Gerald, I think you might call this a miracle. That
Yeah, yeah.
that this was able to be, so steadfastly handled. And golly, yeah, I mean, throughout the entire 60 minutes before they decided to can the game, I knew 10 minutes in, this game is gone. But shame, first of all, on the NFL for trying to keep this game in the works. But even before that was every single one of my thoughts goes out to that family and to him. I mean, Damar Hamlin has been impacted in ways he doesn't know. And I saw even a note there that was when he woke up, he apparently had wrote to the doctors in his first writing, says, "Did we win?" And that's a true football guy, And I really think that shouldn't be his first thought, man. So if there's one thing I know, it's I'm keeping any of my future kids out of playing football. But it could happen. It could happen in any sport. I mean, baseball, hockey, basketball.
From what I saw, a lot of this condition happens a lot more in other sports, such as, like you said, baseball and hockey, when an errant puck or ball is hit directly to the chest, and it says at an exact moment in the heart's rhythm cycle that ends up causing it to stop. So there is an understanding of the risk that exists within sports in general. It just optically looks even worse for the NFL for as many problems with health and safety and player well-being as they have had in the past, very much centered around the CTE and the head trauma and the response to that. But also, I do want to point out, while the world was waiting for updates from the hospital, because there was about a good 4 or 5 hours where very, very minimal updates were coming, people found Damar Hamlin's GoFundMe for his foundation that he set up before he was a pro player, that was raising money to donate toys to kids in his home area. And the goal was $2,500 that he wanted to raise, and it is since, as of the last time checking, at around $6 million. So people,
8 million earlier today.
You said what?
I saw 8 million earlier today.
8 million.
Dude, that's crazy.
Well, I'm not sure if you all can recount, but I think I'm trying to remember which quarterback it would have been. My mind goes to Andy Dalton. And it was when Andy Dalton winning had the Bills get into the playoffs. Bills fans donated to his charity and boosted it up to like $3 million.
Right.
But it's reminiscent of that, of NFL fans really come together.
I mean, you mentioned it now it's the Bengals doing that for the Bills.
Well, and even football aside, there's a lot of times when people realize that life is bigger than football. Now, for those of you who did not watch this game, the NFL had, in the first quarter, when this incident happened, they canceled the game afterwards. It's the first time that I can recall, at least in NFL history, that a game has just been canned because of an injury. So, yeah, it's a really big deal. I mean, he's 24 years old, just a young kid, just out there playing his dream, and it was really rattling to see him, go down in that fashion. But all of our thoughts and prayers are out for him from myself, Gerald, and PJ. And, we hope for a swift recovery. And in that fashion, in his honor, let's go, Bills.
Yep, let's go, Bills.
So, taking a slight move from there, we have to keep it up. We're going to move on to the National Basketball Association. As our resident, I guess, awful take haver, PJ, what do you know about the NBA since we last communicated?
Well, obviously Donovan Mitchell went off the other night. What was it? Ended up 71?
Yeah.
71 points.
Third or fourth most ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be an idiot not to trade the farm for him, like the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks have been a fun team, and the Eastern Conference has been a fun conference to watch this year. The Eastern Conference is very entertaining, but the Knicks had a disappointment last year, but they find themselves in the 5-6 seed floating between those two, right back where they were 2 years ago. And I think, honestly, this team is more prepared than the team 2 years ago to handle the adversity that they faced in that round of the playoffs. I can see the Knicks making it to the second round.
And have you paid much more attention to the western side of the NBA?
All I know is the Lakers suck.
Yeah.
The Lakers are terrible.
Lakers are currently in 12th place in the standings, behind the Timberwolves and the Jazz and the Warriors. The Warriors are in 9th place.
This being said, I mean, you mentioned the Timberwolves. It seemed when we had talked about the Rudy Gobert trade that was a little heavy-handed, and now it seems like that was one of the worst trades of all time. So how does it hold up now?
Rudy Gobert. I mean, hey, his legacy is one of the best defensive players of all time.
No. Hold on. Pause. His legacy is giving the world,
Yeah. But he shut down the whole league.
He shut down everybody, from point guards to centers. From
Mans was so impactful. He shut down other sports.
Rudy Gobert.
Mans had me sweating if the liquor stores were an essential business.
Was there ever really any doubt?
But my only take on the NBA right now is I refuse to believe that there's anybody in the NBA better than Europeans when it comes to Nikola Jokic is the third best European. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the second best European. And then you got Luka Magic. Put them in whatever order you want. Those are the three best players in the NBA right now. There's nobody tougher. This NBA,
I would have said
has been always called the National Basketball Association of America. It's now all of a sudden European and international. Number 4, Joel Embiid. He's from Cameroon. I mean, if you want to go off the grid, you look at not Kawhi, but Kyrie Irving. He's Australian.
I mean, I get it, but I think this is just a product of
French guy.
That's true. This is just a product of some of the players who have been the marquee superstars of the league finally having age catch up to them, which was inevitable. LeBron is still arguably one of the greatest players of all time, the greatest player of all time.
He's still top 10 today. I don't think there's an argument about that.
But you can tell that there's been a decline, is what I'm saying. KD, there's been a decline.
Hey, he's still top 10.
Westbrook, there's been a decline.
Okay, he might be top 400.
So I mean that's all going on. Also, by the way, I'm still sticking by my one egregious prediction for how the Western Conference is going to finish, and I'm still saying, and I've said it on camera a couple times, and I'll say it on camera again: the Sacramento Kings are winning the Western Conference.
Yeah, you might be a little bit late to cash in your bet on that one.
I'm holding on to fleeting hope, because if that's not what being a sports fan is all about, then I don't know what is.
Well, they've got Domantas Sabonis. They got Buddy Healed, right? Oh no,
Yeah.
they don't have Buddy Healed. No, they do not have Buddy Healed anymore. So
No,
I
they
Hey,
don't
they
know
have
what you were on.
they have the beam on top of their arena.
Oh, sure. Great style.
That is pretty nice.
So when we look at, I'm not sure if we have available. I want to do this next time is have available on a spreadsheet our predictions beforehand. But what do the standings look like now for the top 8 seeds in each conference?
In the East, it is in order first to eighth: Celtics, Bucks, Nets, Cavs, 76ers, Knicks, Pacers, and Heat. Number 9 is the Hawks. Number 10 is the Bulls. Those are the only relevant ones I'll add.
Who is the 6? The Cavs?
The Knicks.
The Knicks. The Cavs are 4.
I didn't see the Cavs being up that high, but they really put it together.
They're like they have the potential to win the East.
No.
And they're quiet about it.
No, they don't. They don't.
Again, going for a bit of a long shot, okay? But still.
Sure. And what is the West top 8?
The West top 8 is Nuggets, Grizzlies, Pelicans, Mavericks, Kings, Clippers, Trailblazers, and Suns. And then the Warriors are 9 and the Jazz are 10.
It's weird to me seeing Golden State fall off when their entire roster is healthy now, as compared to last year when they didn't have Clay.
I don't know what it is. Is it that they have too many people who can potentially do so much that they get in each other's way?
I just feel like you can only play together for so long.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen. Now I'm going to take this is my podcast moment that I want somebody to clip and document. This is my January 6th, 2023 moment. I will never see the Golden State Warriors win another chip in the next 20 years of my living. Next.
That seems rather bold.
Hey. Well, it's what
I
it
could
is.
see them maybe going on like 2014 like Spurs last ride run.
I can see that happening. Yeah, I can see them getting it together and doing something miraculous.
But I mean, we're talking years from now.
We're talking years from now. But that's what it is.
Hey, you guys have not seen that one kid on TikTok called Big Joe?
Yeah, no, the dude with the quotes.
Yeah. Corey?
No, I've not seen him at all.
Yeah. Man is talking about Quaaludes for some reason.
Oh yeah, well we can't put him up on here because it'll get struck.
No. I'm not putting anything up. I'm just saying, like, I don't know why. As soon as I saw him, they're like, someone said he's like a reincarnated Tony Soprano, but worse.
No. You did show me him. Never mind. So I want to keep it moving before we start getting into little asymmetrics here and there. So we had a little incident apparently happen in the coldest season of the MLB. A season that runs 8 months out of the year, from spring training until the World Series. Now, does anybody have any idea about what Carlos Correa might be going through? He's failed his medicals first with the Giants. And now he got signed to the Mets. And the Mets are looking at walking away because his medicals have been so slow and far between. What's going on with him? PJ.
Yeah, what fucking Christ. I did see a video analyzing his the way he stands on like in his athletic stance on the field and how he stands when he's going through a throwing motion. And they said, long term he's been doing that his whole life. Like long term it could cause like structural damage.
I mean, his stance doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary.
Well, he like points his feet in and like bows his legs a little bit. I don't know. I'm not the guy that was explaining it.
I can't see that doing so much damage.
Nice chyron to be put down there.
Yeah. I can't see that doing so much damage that it makes teams walk away. There's got to be something else. Unless this is like another Fernando Tatis Jr. situation where
he
something
juiced.
Well, not only that, where he hid
Fernando
injuries
Tatis
from his
Jr.?
team or something.
Cheater. Nope, cheater.
That's true. That's true.
Never going to be a Hall of Famer.
Fair enough. No, but where he got injured falling off of a motorcycle more than once apparently, and didn't tell his team until he walked into spring training and showed them that he was injured. I doubt it's the exact same circumstance, but it sounds similar in the way he's trying to like skirt around the issue. I don't understand though what exactly it could be. It's got to be something significant for teams who are willing to put this much money on this type of player to say, you know what, actually that's not going to work. Does he have a broken bone that he never healed correctly? Did he do something during the offseason? Is there something in his system that they're finding that they really don't like? Did he do something to like try to enhance his performance? I don't know what it is, but something clearly is significantly wrong with his physical condition. And the teams are scared to touch it with a 10-foot pole, especially for the amount of money that he's demanding from them.
The way that I see it is the first bidders, I thought the Giants had him. And the Giants giving him up on medical, it was sort of, anything could have happened specifically. But now the Mets, who are apparently, Cohen is going out and spending every bit of money that he has on, I guess, 5 guys? I mean, it's like, hey, PJ, Gerald, that's like you and me going out and buying a fucking 5 Guys burger. Because we're spending a whole bit of our paycheck buying this. But they're going out and spending all this money on stuff. And for him to not pass that, there's got to be something.
I just don't know why they're being so secretive about it.
That's what I'm saying. It is because usually when it's something, the team will do whatever it takes to make themselves look less incompetent.
I have a conspiracy theory. And my conspiracy... Well, I have 2 things. I have one idiot conspiracy, which I'm going to lead with, is they found out that he had a buzzer implanted in his arm from the 2017-2018 World Series. My second one, which is not as much of that, is they found something out and they're only sharing it with other league GMs directly.
What would warrant that type of response, though?
I have a conspiracy theory.
I couldn't possibly imagine.
They found out he was juicing, and Rob Manfred is such a small man that he's trying to avoid ever bringing up the 2017 Astros and that whole scenario again because he completely bombed it. So if that comes out that Correa's juicing, then all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, well, he was juicing in 2017, and then that whole thing becomes a story again. Manfred's covering his ass. That's a lot
better of a conspiracy than mine.
Manfred is covering
Listen, I can see that happening because he also granted him and a bunch of other Astros players their immunity.
They've both, Correa and Manfred, have always been scumbags.
And Altuve.
I mean, it's the perfect crime, really.
All right. With other league action, this is the year where the shift is going to be removed. What are your feelings on that? Specifically, I want to ask Gerald.
Well, Joey Gallo's going to be happy, first of all.
Yeah.
Then I have to bunt all the time now. I think I don't know. I'm interested to see how it works. I can't say I have a strong feeling for that decision or against that decision, but I am interested to see what it does for the overall, mind games and the tactics that are used by different managers in the dugouts during games. And the only way it bans a shift is if it's, it has two people have to be on either side of the second base at any given time in the infield. So a shortstop can't cover the gap between first and third if they know he's going to be there. The first baseman isn't going to be able to cover the right field if they know he's going to pop out over there. So it's interesting to see exactly how managers approach it. That's what I'm more interested in, is how is a manager going to play his cards now, if he even can. Does he have his hands tied behind his back? Is he able to do something or not? You tell me. But again, just interested to see. Don't feel strongly for it or against it. I want to see some games played with this style and see exactly how I feel about it afterwards. Like, maybe give me a month with the new rule, and then I'll see how that goes.
Now, I'm going to have to say is I've never been a fan of this. I've never been a fan of this in the way that, and I'm going to have to eat some crow here, is I was never a fan of the league-wide DH. And the league-wide DH turned out to be fine. I would rather it were a league-wide ban on DH, because nothing's better than a pitcher getting a hit. But when it comes to pace and when it comes to just spontaneity of the game, you want to have people who can hit at every 1 through 9 spot. I think the shift is changing the baseball game from chess into checkers. And I think that is what Manfred is trying to do, is cut down. I mean, you have to look at it like this, right? You ban the shift. That's the newest. You look before that. You have mound visits. Okay, you look before that. Then you have minimum batters faced. This takes down 3 notches. I understand it speeds up the game and makes it easier to watch. But truth be told, if you didn't watch baseball before, you're not going to watch it now. And to take that power of the amount of just gamesmanship that a 1-out pitcher can give you, I think they should have said, put him in, no warm-up. That's what it should have been. Put him in, no warm-up pitches. He walks out, he throws the first pitch. You don't get minutes to warm up. But
I mean,
they're doing that.
I get
they're
that.
doing with that, the pitch clock, the mound visits. The mound visits I'm okay with because it came a bit much.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And then they're also expanding the size of the bases.
I do not agree with that at all. I think we all 3 of us, we learned how to play baseball on a specific sized base. Why should it be bigger? You know where your heel should be if you're playing first. You know where anywhere to touch is if you're a base runner. Why would you expand the base? It doesn't help anybody.
I feel like it's going to end up causing more injuries than it is.
All it does, yes, it's going to cause more injuries from guys who have played. Like, not even they've played 3 years in the majors. Yeah, you've played 3 years in the majors, but you've played 16 years of your life to that point. You know regulation bases, and now it's changed on you. I'm not a fan of anything Rob Manfred has to say. I think that out of every commissioner, he's my least favorite. And yes, I know that Goodell is out there. But, Rob Manfred has hurt baseball more than he could possibly help it.
Why was he ever chosen in the first place is my question.
I mean, none of this. You couldn't have put a worse person. No wonder baseball's dying.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to the next of the NFL rundown. So, as our teams currently stack, quick run through. PJ, how are the Giants doing? What do they have to gain from tomorrow's matchup? Or from Sunday's matchup?
Let me tell you a story. In 2007, same thing. Giants, young unproven quarterback and a young coach, backs against the wall. They march on, fight to the end of the season, face the undefeated Patriots in the last week of the regular season. They had already locked up playoff positioning, but Tom Coughlin was like, no, you guys are playing that fucking game. We're going to ruin their season. And it ended up with the Patriots winning on a field goal at the end of the game, 38-35. The Giants almost beat the Patriots that season earlier. And that showed them they could do it, and it sparked a run. As we all know, they eventually went on to beat those Patriots. The Eagles have dominated all season. They blew us out earlier in the year. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. We have a chance to prove ourselves against them in a similar spirited game. Show the league what we can do. We already hung in with the Vikings. See what happens, baby. Let's get some momentum going into this playoff run. I'm so hyped. What a time to be a Giants fan.
And Gerald, what do the Commanders have to gain from this week?
Brand new quarterback. Both Carson Wentz proved last week why we decided to go with Taylor Heineke earlier in the season. And the arguments for putting Carson Wentz back in is, he has better arm strength and accuracy. He has more experience. He has playoff experience. He has he's
guy
taller.
Who just had Carson Wentz, you don't want him.
I didn't want him. I remember I said, at this point, give it to Heineke if you don't have an actual plan. But then they bring him in. He wins 2 games out of 6 or something, or 2 games. Gets injured on the 7th game. They put Heineke in. They go on a 4-game winning streak. They build up their momentum. Heineke has a tough game against the number 1 defense in the NFC against the 49ers. Tough game. They bench him in the middle of the game, put Carson Wentz back in just to see if anything can change. Nothing changes. And then Ron Rivera decides to keep Carson Wentz as the starter. And he proves to everybody what we already knew, that Carson Wentz is on the cusp of no longer being an NFL-level quarterback. He might not even be good enough for a backup at this point, considering how piss poor his performance was last week. How do you short throw into someone's legs in the backfield up against your own end zone line, or throw 3 interceptions where the more open person was the defender? I have my gripes with Heineke. I do, and his shortcomings. I know he's not a perfect quarterback, but at the very least, he knows how to go to different receivers who will give him the best chance of gaining some yards, and has the team on his back and will motivate them, be the leader of that team, and motivate his team to fight harder to win every single game. which, considering some of the games we won were by less than 7 points, or the majority of them were by less than 7 points, that made the difference almost every single week that they won. But now, both of them are benched because the season's through. We can't make the playoffs. So we're going to try our rookie, Sam Howell. He looked really good during the preseason. A lot of people liked the way that he did. I'm not expecting much, but I'm interested to see how he goes. And PJ, you'll agree with me. What sweeter way would there be to end the season than to just stick one back to that Dallas Cowboys?
No, hold on. Cowboys by I'm a betting man. Cowboys might be favored by, I don't even know, 10.5. I'm taking Cowboys 15.5.
I'll take a loss, but another injury on a key Dallas player on our field. Okay.
Whoa. No.
Holy shit!
Considering Monday's events, Gerald, we cannot wish for injury.
I meant like a twisted ankle.
Wow. DJ, here we go again. Should we bring up Mexican soccer fans again?
I mean, he's already tarnished his reputation enough. Now he's known as a racist and a scumbag.
Gerald is a skip baylist of the We Talk Sports podcast. He's a player hater. So
that's not what I said.
Speaking of being a player hater, I would like to move on to a new segment that the viewers, you guys might find enjoyable. We're going to call this JPC Hate Line. Here's what sucks. And in this, we only just go through things that we individually hate about sports right now. I'm going to go ahead and take the first strike. NHL. I hate the triangle. I don't think that there should be a reason why the goalie should get back there and even have a slot to defend. He's going to get himself blown up. I know they put them in there to try to protect themselves from, the defensive goalies who can move outside of the crease and get in there. But it's terrible. I mean, we're seeing guys get for no loss to anybody, but we just saw Jordan Bennington get exploded on about 2 weeks ago. Shout out whoever did that. Fuck the Blues. But it should be eliminated. The trapezoid should not be there anymore. That's my number one JPC hate line tip. Gerald.
I mentioned it earlier. I don't know what the Baltimore Orioles are doing in this offseason. I can't for the life of me figure out if they have a strategy or are waking up every single day wondering what to do next because no one planned that far ahead. Not only is the ownership of this franchise in some serious hot water because the Angelos brothers, the two sons of Peter Angelos, are infighting within themselves. One of them saying he wants to sell the team and move to Nashville. The other one saying he's never going to sell and they're staying here in Baltimore. So that's all going down at the top. And then because that happens, we're doing the same exact thing we've done for the last 2.5 decades, which is completely ignore how to improve ourselves in the offseason. We've been doing it since before Buck Showalter was in town. We've been ignoring the international markets. We've been not striving for marquee pitching and an actually good starting rotation. It's just, and then, like I said, they made a move that made no sense. They acquired O'Hearn from the Royals for cash considerations about 5 days ago. And then just 2 days ago, designated that same player for assignment. What was the point of putting him on the roster and then putting him back down again? And it's just, nothing is exciting me for this new season if it weren't for how well they played last season with who they already had. And I'm talking about Adley Rutschman, or rather Adley Clutchman, and Jorge Mateo, I think, is still on the team. He got a
Yes.
1-year extension. He's good closer. Just all of that. All of what happened last season is making me excited for this season. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? I'd still be kind of wary of that. This is still a young team. This is still a young core of players, but I think they have a lot of energy in them. But the organization itself, why am I stuck supporting two organizations that don't know how to run themselves, and with owners that everyone hates? Just I how did I get stuck here? But whatever, that's fine.
All right, PJ, your JPC hotline take.
My hotline take is that I absolutely despise the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys because, as you have been seeing the last couple of weeks, they are fraudulent teams. They are no good, and we know for a fact that they will both be out by the championship rounds. It happens all the time, and I'm tired of the perpetual hype train. Anytime the Cowboys and Eagles are good, I'm tired of the narrative because they always blow it.
Don't the Cowboys have the same number of playoff wins in the last decade as the Lions?
Dak Prescott has one more playoff win in his career than Daniel Jones.
Oh, well, I have one more JPC hate line, and that one would be fuck the Rags and fuck the Habs. I can't wait to see the Rags lose to New Jersey tomorrow, way early, at a nice 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's what I look forward to.
Hey, isn't there a football tomorrow?
Indeed.
Yep.
Who is playing tomorrow?
There's a 4:00 and then there's a night game, and then the rest of the games are Sunday.
Oh, these are some real marquee matchups. The Chiefs and the Raiders.
Hey, bro, if the Chiefs lose, then the AFC Championship could be a coin toss.
They said, oh wait, they're considering. They said if
neutral site.
If certain neutral site. Could you imagine that? A neutral site AFC Championship game where they're gonna put it.
I'm glad they limited it to those 3 teams though, because what if there's like the AFC is just full of upsets, and then it's like, whoever. They had nothing to do with that game, and then they got to go play in Detroit.
Right.
Now, what I want y'all beef real quick, because I want to know what you guys think is going to happen between your two NFC East teams in the playoffs.
Well,
mine isn't making it.
Certain one of ours making it.
Hey, I made a commitment to PJ, and I'll stand by it. It looks like since the Cowboys, since the Giants are making it into the playoffs, I'm gonna run.
Give me one second. Go for I gotta move out of here real quick. I should be right back.
Yeah, I got you. No, PJ, I told you directly. I said if the Commanders don't make it in and the Giants do make it in, I'm gonna root for the Giants. They're going to be my NFC team to root for. Now, do I necessarily think they're going to win the NFC Championship? I have my doubts because my pick for the NFC Championship continues to be the Minnesota Vikings.
I think that we can win whoever we play in the wild card round. I think we can make some noise early. I wouldn't be surprised if we did that and then lost in the second round.
That's fair, but even in who would be in the second round?
We would play. So right now, I think we play the 3rd seed, which is the Vikings. So the Vikings would be going. So it would either be Philly or the 49ers.
I have a feeling you can, because here's the thing: the Giants have beat the 49ers when they were technically the better team.
Exactly.
That's how you got to the last Super Bowl. If you remember that last kick.
I'm telling you, I have a good feeling about this, man. I really do.
I
I just
think
feel like the team is so everybody. The team should not be where it's at. Richie James is Daniel Jones' number one receiver. The Giants, the Giants should be. I
Richie
mean,
James.
they should be dead in the water by now.
Never mind who you thought he was.
But they keep fighting, man. This team got some spirit, man. I can see it.
That's what you want to see in your team, where they don't care who they're up
And
against.
they're getting hot at the right moment, too. The offense is heating up. Daniel Jones had the best game of his career this week.
Didn't he score like over 30 points, 4 touchdowns?
Yeah. 2 rushing and 2 passing.
Hey, Daniel Jones is going to be league MVP one day, I think.
Fucking this year, dog. Or next year. And the other thing,
Next year?
he just cut down on the turnovers. You know, that was the whole thing. His first year, he had like 26, 27 turnovers. You know how many he's had this year?
How many?
8.
8 turnovers.
I mean,
then,
you talk about improvement.
Oh, damn, it's Fat Boy.
My mistake. I caught the mascot trying to steal food
Fat man.
out of the bag.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Not a bad idea for the fat boy.
Just throws him to the side.
It's not his podcast.
This is very true. No, but yeah, what I was saying to PJ, depending on how the first round goes, I think the Giants, like he said, they're getting hot at the right moment. They seem to be picking up on offense.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones is not him.
You obviously
We have listen. Has he? When was the last? Yeah. What?
Also, he has like 3 game-winning drives this year.
What? Yeah. What? Here's the thing.
Cool.
3, 4.
He's still Daniel Jones. The eye test proves infinite.
Listen. I listen. Okay. How many playoff wins does Daniel Jones have right now, or how many playoff appearances does he have right now?
0.
None.
This is his first. This is Saquon's first.
Bum.
Yeah. So this could be the moment where you realize.
How many Big Ten championships does Daniel Jones have? None. That's what I thought. Saquon Barkley, go.
But look, man.
It doesn't. Listen, I don't care if it's Saquon or Daniel Jones who makes the biggest difference or scores the most points.
This is where we find out if Daniel Jones is going to fold or not, because I believe Saquon's going to step up because he's been in the big situations before.
Hey.
But this is where we find out if all these comparisons of Daniel Jones to Eli come through or not.
Did Daniel Jones ever beat Ohio State?
No, I can't say he did.
Did Saquon Barkley ever play in a college football playoff?
Did Daniel Jones? That's what I thought. Shut your fucking mouth, Gerald. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Keep an eye
All
out
right.
for the Giants, baby.
Hey! I know that. No. Wait.
I want to take a second on my hate cycle. I hate that my fellow Big Ten teams, which were supposed to be so much better than Penn State, got absolutely whopped in the playoffs. Hey, Gerald, newsflash, Ohio State fucking sucks.
Yeah, they do. I don't like Ryan Day either.
They do. Oh, I don't give a fuck
No.
about who you like.
Wait.
You know who didn't get just dog shit blown out? Penn State.
We didn't get blown out either.
We
lost. What are you talking about? Blown out. Lost on a New Year's kick, a shanked kick. Like,
yeah, blown out.
What are you talking about? That's not a blowout.
Kicker diff.
No. Here's what I'm saying, and this is okay. This has nothing to do with either Penn State or Ohio State.
No. I'm sorry. It actually would have been better if you guys got blown out. Sorry, I say you guys. I say you guys. It would have been better if Ohio State got if people who went to Ohio State, their fans, the people who play for that team, it would have been better if they got blown out than missed as soon as New Year's ticked over on a kick that just got Scott Norwooded.
God, what a heartbreaking way to enter the year, Christ.
No, listen.
What a rant.
Listen,
hey, you know
listen.
I hope
Let me.
your favorite college team follows that energy the entire time throughout this next year, because golly, did that kick look bad.
Thanks for that.
They didn't have to come down to a game-winning field goal.
Because of a game that didn't matter?
It's the Rose Bowl. You're going to tell me the Rose Bowl doesn't matter?
It's kind of washed clothes at this point. It's not what it used to be.
What?
Okay. Well, we've isolated the person. PJ, you've actually lost your crown for the person who has the worst opinions on this podcast. Gerald, you are I guess you're the Rice King.
Fair enough.
Golly.
Let me just say this one statement. Let me just say this one. Let me just say this one statement on the playoff in general, and it's not about any. It's not about any of our teams specifically.
Hey, pull yourself up on the big screen. Say it with your chest.
I'm not focusing on that.
Put yourself up there. Say it with your chest.
I'm gonna talk about Tulane.
Oh well, yeah. USC are my boys, but Tulane really pulled one off.
I mean, for real, we were saying they were not going to get anywhere because they would have been inside of the 12-team playoff bracket.
Gerald, I want to ask you something real quick now.
Yes.
I want to ask that you go big screen as a quote-unquote Ohio State fan and go up there and say, Ohio State sucks. Say Ohio State sucks in the college football playoffs.
Ohio State sucks in the college football playoffs.
You know what? That makes me a happy man. Because I'm
sure it does.
I'm going to clip that, and I'm going to get the Ohio State sucks, and I'm going to put it on a soundboard. And every time Ohio State loses on the podcast, I'm going to hit the button and go, Gerald saying, Ohio State sucks. Well, we're coming towards the end of our 1 hour podcast. That's right. We're putting a timer on it. Now we're going to actually finish with a segment that might not be, that might not be so usual to these viewers. But we're going to finish with the episode number with the best player in each league to wear that number. So this is episode 33 of the We Talk Sports podcast. So we'll be looking at number 33s of all time. I'm going to go ahead and start on this one. Since I'm repping my Toronto Maple Leafs and Mitch Marner, who has been designated an all-star. I'm going to start out with Patrick Waugh, one of the best goaltenders of all time, led the butterfly style, just flipping out, getting in it. As much as I, am not a fan of Pat Waugh, got a lot of his Vezinas, got a lot of Stanley Cups, so can't complain too much. Runner-up, and hate him, but Zdeno Chara. So here's to you. PJ, you're number 33.
I think the basketball one is pretty straightforward. I don't think anyone claimed NFL before, so I guess I'll go NFL for my serious one. As much as I hate the Cowboys, and I hate to admit it, you got to give it to Tony Dorsett. absolute freight train.
No, you don't.
No,
Yes,
you don't.
do. Yes, you do, bro.
No, you don't. There's a much better option.
All right, Tony. All right, Gerald, give yours. I
The
want
better
to hear
option.
from you.
All right, the better option for the one on the
Oh.
NFL is Sammy Ball.
Slinging Sammy Ball. And of
Obviously,
course, Patrick Ewing. Obviously, the greatest basketball player to ever live.
every time you say that, the only thing I can think about is that one time. The one time you showed me a video in 10th grade government class with Mr. Bond, where you showed me a video of some singing chicken wings talking about Kristaps Porzingis saying he's the Latvian Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, bro.
While they were singing a song, whether is he the Latvian Dirk or the Latvian Sean? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. And well, we all know my thoughts on Sir Porzingis these days.
All right,
I think I'm
Gerald,
well documented in my takes.
And my
Gerald,
second one,
you.
did you do MLB or NHL?
I did Chell.
All right. For the MLB, there's really only one option for me. He was a Baltimore Oriole for a significant portion of his career. 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and a Hall of Famer. He is one of the greatest players really to ever play the game, I think. Eddie Murray.
Ooh, yeah. Eddie
Can't
Murray,
deny it.
oh.
It's just that's just a good pick on that number.
500 dingers on his career.
500, 3,000 hits.
How many ribs?
Let's see specifically if I can pull that up. Let me see here.
I bet his RBI numbers were busted.
RBIs 1917. 1,917.
Oh. 1,917 ribs off of 3,000 plus hits. That's monstrous.
Games played 3,026. 11,000 at bats.
Hold on. He had 3,026 games played, and he's in the 3,000 club.
Yeah.
His batting average is what, 316? 323?
Yeah, it's up there.
Well,
actually, it dwindled a little. He started a bit slow, so he actually was a batting average career 287, but a 68.7 WAR, 3,255 hits, 504 home runs, 110 stolen bases, 1,917 RBIs, 1,627 runs. On base percentage 359, slugging 476.
More than a third of the time that he got on base, he would score.
Yeah, OPS 836.
That's disgusting.
I mean, Christ.
Now, I have to take a stance real quick because PJ, you took on basketball for something, and this hasn't been called out, but I need to give that you said Patrick Ewing, who might be a top 25 basketball player of all time, but I need to give you a top 5 who's a Hall of Famer, won 3 chips, 10 All-NBAs, 12 All-Stars, 3 MVPs, 3 All-Defensive, and 2 Finals MVPs. And that's Larry Legend, the original shooter for the Boston Celtics, came out here and just stroked that ball forever. Made his stuff known. 25th anniversary team couldn't have come in lower than top 10.
Um, Larry Legend, I guess. I mean, you're not wrong. How many championship rings does Larry Bird have?
He's got 3.
All right. How about also in that same vein? What about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah.
19 ti-
Who else
19
in
time.
there?
Yeah. For Kareem, 19-time All-Star, 6-time NBA champ, 11-time All-Defensive, 1969, 1970 Rookie of the Year, 6-time MVP, 2-time scoring champ, 15-time All NBA, 2-time Finals MVP, and part of the NBA 75th anniversary Diamond Team.
Well, yeah. Well, now I feel a fool, but I still think all-time Larry Legend might be a little above. But that's another argument
Listen,
for a top 5 of all time, top
listen.
10
If you
of
want
all
to
time,
stand
or
by
whatever.
that statement and have one more thing in common with Skip Bayless, be my guest.
Look, Gerald, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that Larry Legend playing against guys like Mike, playing against guys like Akeem aren't as good as mailmen players, then I'll take it. I'll take that argument every day of the week. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is no doubt an incredible talent, but he's not what Larry Bird was, and especially did not affect the game the way Larry Bird did.
I mean, there's just no way you actually believe that.
I'm sorry. Then you guys have bad takes. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just another great center. But was he better than Bill Russell in skill? Was he better than Wilt in skill? Of course, because he grew. But nobody did what Larry did at that time. And even before him, nobody did what Larry did. You know, I actually think that this could go into another argument, which we should. How dare you? I think this should be another argument for another podcast.
We're gonna have
Well,
to. We're gonna have to
if
save
you
this one.
guys would like to see I think we should expand it to top 10 greatest players of all time in each sport and make that a whole off-season episode.
All right,
You guys
here's.
would like to see that.
I would love to do that. My thing is, let's be honest. There's always going to be arguments, except for in one sport, who stays at the top.
Well,
Only
Barry
one.
Bonds is the best of basketball or best of baseball.
Yeah, good one.
Good one. No, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player who ever lived. Okay. Well, on that note,
there can be made arguments. All I'm saying is there's one sport that undeniably, and I mean completely undeniably, has its number one of all time that no one is ever going to reach.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
No.
I swear to God, if you say it's Gretzky, I'm going to drive to your house and kick your ass. If Ovi scores 1,000 goals,
there's a reason they call him the Great One.
Oh, so scared. He also played in the frickin' 80s and 90s where they averaged 7 goals a game for their teams. Get off. I'm a big fan of Gretz, but
again, I don't want to hear it. You're wearing a Maple Leafs jersey.
No, I'm not wearing a Maple Leafs jersey. I'm wearing. Let me see. Mitch Marner.
Ooh.
The guy. Don't say no to. Don't say ooh to Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner is better than anybody on your poverty team, PJ. You might have one guy, and it's Zibanejad. You know who's better than Zibanejad? Austin Matthews. Ooh, Gerald. You might have one guy. Who's that? Ovi. Yeah, nobody in the league's better than him. But I mean, who's the next best guy? Kuznetsov? Cool. Don't care. Get out of here. Yeah, with your toilet teams. Get out of here with your toilet teams.
I like how PJ got dragged. He really didn't do anything though.
PJ didn't say a word, but just got flushed.
I mean, I gotta process that and just understand. I mean, you can't fix insanity. It's really more effort to respond than what I'm willing to input.
All right, we need to have an off the field episode or off the pod episode where we go on the field and play BP or a game against each other in something. But we'll figure that in the interim. If any of you want to see us do something, however you want to see it, whether it's a segment, if you want to see us follow up on the beef of top fives, if you want to see us take it off the pod and do some live action, just let us know in the comments.
Hey, we can do a live because I've been telling you guys I've been wanting to, especially this year. I want to get into golf.
Oh, well, let's play a
Hell
team.
yeah.
Let's play a team. April 2nd. Gerald, you free?
Let me make sure, but I don't think I've planned anything that far ahead. That's not Easter week? That's all I know, right? It's not Easter.
I don't know when Easter is. I'm not Catholic.
PJ,
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever.
you said April 2nd, right?
Probably. Well,
gonna
either
be
way,
mad.
that's for off the
Patties.
podcast act.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
But we're gonna play golf, and we're gonna get some snippets and throw it together when we do, because I think it would be astonishing how bad we all might be.
For sure.
But
We're gonna have to do that thing where we try to get people where we're set, and we got to try to get the other guy to like back off.
it is an air horn. All right, closing 5 seconds. Gerald.
Go Giants in the playoffs, and I look forward to seeing how this NFL playoff turns out. I still think the Vikings are going to win it all, though.
All right, PJ. 5 seconds.
Gerald is the drunkest man alive, thinking that the Vikings are winning this Super Bowl. Go Giants!
All right. My 5 seconds. I'm rooting for the Buccaneers, the Bills, and the Cowboys because if any of them do well, I do well.
That's fair enough.
That all being said, this has been the We Talk Sports podcast number 33. And as always, I've been Corey.
PJ.
And Gerald.
And this has been We Talk Sports. We will catch you in 2 weeks or sooner on our next episode. Easy.